has a habit of showing up at things.
If I may, if my mic is hot. Okay, is my mic up?
there's so many people here. How easy would it be for the shooter to get away? That's probably something they're talking about right now. But, what we're getting from here, as I'm getting an echo in my IFB, if we could take care of that, the pulse we're getting here is that there is just pandemonium happening right now. And students are trying to figure out what happened. Law enforcement, thanks for getting that echo out of there. Law enforcement trying to find a suspect. And if I step out of the way one more time, you'll see that there's more ambulances that showed up to campus. Before there was 2. Now there are 4 from what I could observe. That may just be a precaution. Law enforcement in situations like these have to go throughout the entire campus and try to find where there's students, where there's staff, and sounds like even a suspect at this point. And not surprising to see when there's so many students describing them trying to escape, trampling over one another, narrow doorways that everyone's trying to rush out of at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if paramedics there are just on standby, staging there with the rest of law enforcement in case there is another patient that we hear about. So far, what we know right now is that there's only one patient, and it's Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, one of the biggest conservative activists, political activists, figureheads this nation, this world has seen currently. And he's in critical condition. And this is very fluid, as you said, Brian. It is still developing. There is not a suspect in custody. Big questions right now are how did they get on campus? How did he get this close to Charlie Kirk, someone who is controversial, someone who does go to campuses and gets a lot of objections? But, it's heartbreaking, Brian, heartbreaking. Okay.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good job. This is not gonna. Yeah, should I? Okay. Butter. Does it look okay? MJ, where's the courtyard in relation to where we are?
Courtyard is like right
Behind that building, and that's where it happened? Do they know what weapon was used? No.
Just a firearm.
Just we know it was one shot fired.
One shot. There's just speculation on the size right
purple? No, maybe it's in the back pocket. Sorry. Yeah. No? Okay, that's fine then. I don't think I brought it. Stupid of me. Hi, can you hear me? Thank you. Unconfirmed reports that he's dead. Unconfirmed. Thank you, Carly. Did I what? This is the sucky thing about driving yourself. I'm like listening to Matt and Alyssa. I'm like, I heard it was in the neck of his carotid. See, I only saw the blurred. Like what?
All that animation.
Just saw me. MJ, will you call Peter, please? Will you call Peter?
Yeah.
How long have you been here today?
Here,
Yeah.
I was in American Fork when it came out, so I just got on the freeway. And
Is it all hands on deck right now?
what's that?
Is it all hands on deck right now?
From all over the county.
Yeah.
I'm calling him. What did you want? You need to ask him.
What'd you say?
Calling Peter. What did you want?
Oh, just he was calling me and tell him I can't talk right now. Yeah, good afternoon, Brian. I just made it, feet on the ground here in Orem. Drove up from Salt Lake the moment we heard. You can expect a lot of traffic along I-15 southbound as we made our way closer and closer to Orem. And once you got off the freeway, closer and closer to Utah Valley University's campus, the roads are packed with students who are leaving campus for the day after they've been on lockdown, with students who are trying to get home and out of the area. I want to show you where I am if we can. We're on the top of a road here by an employee permit parking lot. Below, you see the big Utah Valley University sign, and you see this area, this roundabout, just swarmed with emergency vehicles. Take a look. You see those lights flashing. Their sirens are off at the moment, but this is just giving us a glimpse of how many people and the response that we're seeing here on this Wednesday afternoon. If we can take a look to the right a little bit, you see this building. Doesn't look like much, but on the opposite side of the building, that's the courtyard where we know today's event took place. Again, Charlie Kirk came here to this Utah Valley University campus, went to that courtyard for one of his speaking keynote engagement events as part of his tour across the country. We know he was expected to go to Utah State University at some point next week. He came here today. The event began around noon, and we're told sometime in between 15 and 20 minutes after that event began is when that gunshot fired. Witnesses describe seeing him hit in the neck. He hit the ground after. We've seen video of that today. We've shared some of that with you. We're doing our best to censor some of it as much as we can because we know it can be jarring. At this point, we are still waiting to hear some of those confirmations on how Charlie Kirk is doing now. You're getting some views of what we saw earlier today. Again, this began at noon. We know, obviously, there have been a lot of mixed opinions on today's event, on Charlie Kirk, on his tour, and we've spoken to a lot of people here today already who are on both sides of the aisle. Some came out in full support of Charlie Kirk. They wanted to be here, support him. I believe, Brian, you just spoke with one of those girls who's praying for him and his family. I also spoke to some people who showed up today on the opposite side of the political spectrum. They wanted to question him. They wanted a chance to kind of debate with him as he typically does. So really a large variety of people we've seen on campus today. I want to emphasize, though, the moments we know what happened right after, according to witnesses, they heard that gunshot ring out. Immediately, many of them hit the ground, hearing that sound, and right after, many of them ran to safety. They went to their cars. Some of them were in the garage. I know Matt and Alyssa spoke to some witnesses earlier today, someone who's been in his garage for hours, a parking garage here, recapping his experience and what he saw. Again, when I got here, we saw lines of cars on the road as people are filing out of school. We see people here still waiting for more news, waiting to see if there's any more updates they'll learn. We do expect those to come. But again, fully up to date as of this afternoon around 2:40. We know Charlie Kirk shot here at Utah Valley University campus in Orem as part of his keynote speaking engagement. We are still waiting on that confirmation of how he's doing now. The latest on that, we know we've heard a lot of feedback, a lot of show of support pouring in from state leaders, national leaders, the president even. And Brian, we know I've already spoken to several witnesses just walking in the last few minutes as I arrived here in Orem. And you hear it all the time with these horrific events. But truly, we hear about these kinds of things happen across the country. But so many students here say they never expected something like this to happen in Utah. They never expected something like this to happen in Orem on Utah Valley University campus, Brian. So again, we understand there's a lot of questions out there. We want to know the answers to them too. We're doing our very best to get those for you, but also we understand this is a very fluid situation. We know a lot of law enforcement here, a lot of investigators, FBI here on scene trying to figure out the investigation, figure out the latest, and we will make sure we bring you the latest as we learn it, Brian. An active situation here in Orem today. Correct, Brian. And what's so important here, too, is we're waiting on those numbers to come in of how many people were here. Brian, I do want to say this breaking news we're getting in right now. We just heard it confirmed from President Donald Trump saying Charlie Kirk is dead and has been killed. We're getting that latest news here right now on ABC4 News at 2:43 this Wednesday afternoon. We believe he was shot at some point between 12:15 and 12:20 here on Utah Valley University's campus in Orem. We are just hearing that latest confirmation from President Trump, who is saying Charlie Kirk is now dead. That gunshot turned fatal. A hectic, active, fluid situation we mentioned before. Again, this shows we need to rely on some of those reliable sources, because we've heard many speculation, many rumors here across the board today, across social media. We know that can be an aid. We also know rumors can fly. But again, that is the latest that we're hearing this afternoon, Brian, the latest that Charlie Kirk is now dead. I believe we are seeing that screen, the shot of that tweet right now. Brian, if you don't mind, if you can read that for us so we can hear exactly what is said so far. Yes. MJ.
Still lots of parents arriving. You can probably see some of them behind me. This is just the latest, but we are seeing parents over to my left as well. They've started parking at Evergreen Fire Rescue, which is right near Bergen Meadow Elementary School, kind of walking down this hill around the fence to join that line, which we've been talking about for over an hour now. That line just continuously growing because more and more parents are showing up here, lining up, waiting to reunify with their students. We've seen 2 buses so far, Ryan and Micah, both of those buses from Jefferson County Public Schools, and you can see them, a 3rd bus now actually. It's being escorted by the Sheriff's Department, and there it is. That's the 3rd bus that we're seeing. That has students inside of it. You see some of those students with those windows down. They are going to be going to the front portion of the elementary school. So that is the 3rd bus we've seen show up here at Bergen Meadow Elementary. Is inside. Some young kids in there. They are coming.
But that's no excuse for gun violence, and I don't agree. I hate guns, honestly. So,
Thoughts on that happening here on a campus you work at today in Orem?
yeah, it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing for the students. When I saw students running off from the campus over the bridge there, a lot of them were crying. It was traumatizing for everyone. And now the campus is closed. So
Describe that scene to me for you, if you will. People running, what did it look like?
yeah, they just said I was in the business building, an AI event, AI for business. I thought, okay, this would be interesting. AI is sort of an application of mathematics. And then the students said, there's been gunshots. And they all ran out. Some of them were crying. They were calling their families, calling the police. And it was a horrific scene. I was sort of, I think I didn't really confirm the shock until later when I got back home to my wife and our apartment.
And knowing some of the results of what have happened today, tell me, now that you've had a moment to kind of process it, what are you feeling right now?
Well, that's just crazy. That's horrible that if Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't completely agree with his politics, but I liked watching his videos on YouTube. That was back in 2020. So I saw some of his videos, prove me wrong or something. I was somewhat sympathetic, and I don't think this violence is justifiable, regardless of who's speaking, controversial or not. So
I've heard so many people say today, I've spoken to so many students, people who live in the Orem area, and they say this is something that doesn't happen here. Have you ever seen something like this happen here at Utah Valley University while you've been working here?
Well, I mean, I just started working here in August, so I just moved up here. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect this to happen in Orem. You're right. I mean, Orem is known for being family city USA. I moved here from Las Vegas. Las Vegas is known for more of that gun violence stuff. That I think when I worked at UNLV a year ago, there were some professors who did say there was a shooting there, and that's something to be more expected, I think, in the middle of Las Vegas than especially a family city like Orem.
Moving forward, again, you just started your career here, your job.
Right.
What are your thoughts moving forward? Will this change who you are at all? Anyway, anything that you do, what effect does this have on you?
Well, it's going to make me, I guess, sort of not trust campus events as much, unfortunately. I was looking forward to going to some campus events. But, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to trust them quite as much now. I wish I could trust them, especially controversial ones like Charlie Kirk. So,
what do you think we, as a Orem community, as a state, what can we learn from what happened here today?
Well, I think just better laws about gun violence. I think my wife did look up, actually, right before we moved to Utah. Utah is one of the few states that does not require people to have a license for carrying a gun. So I think that's something that could be changed, at least on the state level, and maybe just some better measures to prevent gun violence on the local Orem level.
Robert, thank you so much. It was so
you.
nice meeting you. I wish it was under better circumstances, and wishing you the best of luck. We just heard from a mathematics professor here at Utah Valley University. You heard it from him. He just began his job here weeks ago, in August, he said, and he shows up on campus today to hear students running, fleeing the scene, screaming, "Someone's been shot." I want to show you that scene right now as we take a look here. Again, Utah Valley University campus in Orem. We're right outside one of the parking lots. You see that building. On the other side of that building is the courtyard where we understand that shooting happened today around 12:15 or 12:20. Definitely an active scene here on this Wednesday afternoon. It has not slowed down in the past 2 hours. Around that roundabout, you see cars circled, pulled off to the side. Those flashing lights, sirens are quiet at the moment. The air seems quiet, but we know there is still a hustle and bustle going on here. We see traffic on the roads as people continue to try and file out here from campus, processing that aftermath of what they may have witnessed here today. You just heard from the professor, and he described it as it took a moment for him to kind of process through his feelings. You're running, and you're running to safety, and you're making sure you're okay. And then a lot of the emotions and a lot of the processing comes after the fact, as we know, especially now as we are just hearing that confirmation from President Trump saying Kirk is confirmed dead. Again, we're taking a look at the scene. We're waiting to see what happened. Again, this all happened at today's event where Charlie Kirk was visiting Utah Valley University campus here in Orem as part of his speaking engagement tour he's doing across the country. We know, as a reminder, he is a founder of Turning Point USA, many mixed opinions, a polarizing political figure, many called him. That event began around noon. The gunshots were fired between 12:15 and 12:20, and I should say gunshot is what we've been told, one single shot. Witnesses describe seeing him shot in the neck. Again, an active scene. We know still many questions. We talked about it earlier. We first heard confirmation that the suspected shooter was in custody, but we later heard from police that was not in fact the case. So that is a big question we know still remains. Who is that suspected shooter? Who did it? And what happens next, Brian? And we know that is one of the big questions that's going to be in the air today and coming days, and that's what we're going to continue to follow. But really, horrific events happening here in Orem on this Wednesday, Brian, we know.
Hey, MJ, get them closer. I'll have you stand by him. Yeah, I'm ready. Hold on a second. What's your name? Okay. Not you. Well, absolutely heartbroken. I mean, Charlie Kirk, one of the biggest political activists in the world, who advocates for free speech, here on campus, talking with students. There was a few students who were able to exchange ideas, and we talked to students who had different ideas, just said that they appreciate that he came on campus, is willing to have a conversation with them. To hear President Trump now say that he's dead is just, it's heartbreaking, and it's also just shocking because of how contentious campuses are when he goes to them. We know that Turning Point USA says they're active on 3,500 different campuses. They have a lot of supporters. And the part that makes Turning Point USA so interesting on social media is that there are other students with different voices that participate at these events. So we know that Charlie Kirk travels to all these different campuses with his security team. We also know that campuses are alerted ahead of time when Charlie Kirk comes and speaks at different campuses across the United States. So what exactly happened here? How many police, how many security were at this event? What was the process of them making sure that students were coming in, weren't armed, or anybody else who was coming in? Because remember, this wasn't just students. We heard it from different employees in the area, students from other campuses who attended events like this. And we got a chance to speak to one of them now. If I could go ahead and have you step a little closer to me. First of all, were you in attendance, and how far were you from the speaking?
Yes, I was in attendance today. I was probably 10, 15 feet away from Charlie Kirk, so pretty close to him.
Yeah. What did you see?
I'm sure you've already described it. I don't know if I want to describe it again, but it was pretty traumatizing, pretty terrible. What happened? Just an overall sad situation.
And you were telling us that did it appear like there was a lot of security there, or not much?
No, I mean, we registered for tickets, but they weren't even looking for tickets. Anyone could just walk in. It was at probably the worst place in campus because there's so many areas where anyone can just walk in. So yeah, I would say the security level, I would say UVU kind of failed him in a way.
Well, you followed Charlie for some time now, right?
Yeah.
So you see, like, when Turning Point USA goes to different campuses, like how contentious it could be, right?
Yes.
Was it surprising that there wasn't more checks and balances entering the campus?
I think it was super surprising, yes. I think for sure in an event like this where there's debate and Charlie, sometimes he likes to provoke, they should have a lot more security just because everyone's welcome. So.
Tell me a little bit about the aftermath after this gunshot went off. What happened afterwards?
So I was with one of my good friends, and as soon as the gun went off, we both hit the floor, started praying, everyone was screaming, and then yeah, we got up and we just started running, and we made it to our apartment. So
yeah, you're right around this area. Did you see any students kind of like get injured as everyone was trying to escape?
No, but I did see a select group of students who stood up and cheered after the fact, which was really sad to see.
You're kidding me.
No.
Well, we are now getting breaking news. Breaking news coming into the newsroom right now. The suspect in this shooting has been arrested. This is coming in right now. Early on, after 12:20, when that shooting was reported, we first got alert. Suspect was taken into custody. A few minutes after that, UVU spokesperson said that, no, actually, we don't have a suspect in custody. Now we are confirming into the newsroom right now that a suspect has been arrested, who they are, how old they are, how they plan to come to an event like this and open fire, targeting Charlie Kirk, a single round being fired, striking Charlie. All of that information has not been confirmed, but that's what police are going to start working on now. And you really hope that they actually have the guy this time, because there were pictures of someone who was being detained by law enforcement circulating everywhere. It turns out it wasn't that person. But we are getting official word from authorities now that they have arrested a suspect, and you hear just the turmoil and the aftermath from students talking about being just a few feet away from Charlie, hearing that gunshot. Reports were that the shot came from 200 yards away from the stage. Well, I've corroborated that with some of the students here who said that it sounded like the shot happened from behind them. Which kind of gets into this next question of what kind of weapon was this, what kind of caliber it was. And I only bring that up because at point blank range, yeah, like a 9mm or smaller weapon could be used in those situations, as we see across the country. When you're 200 yards away, there's a certain type of weapons, whether it's a rifle or a sniper of some kind, that are used for longer distances like that. So I only bring that up because it gets back to the security here. When you have someone as big as Charlie Kirk with the platform that he has, how contentious he may be across the entire, it's kind of hard to say, but how contentious he was across the nation, you would expect that there'd be more checks and balances here, and I'm sure the authorities are going to be releasing more information about that. But to bring in a weapon we're presuming is probably a rifle or a sniper, something that could make it that distance. How did this happen? How did this happen? That's the question of the hour, the question of the week, probably for the entire year. Hopefully we get those answers as soon as possible because there are so many people impacted by this. Look, I want to bring this point back up. When there was that assassination attempt on Donald Trump, there were so many people across the aisle that were saying, thank goodness that he is alive, because not just how horrible a situation like that would have been, but because of the potential violence that may have been incited after something like that. Well, former presidential nominee Kamala Harris posted on her social media saying that she hopes that violence doesn't come out of something like this, considering how big Charlie Kirk was, an advocate for freedom of speech, someone who traveled to countless campuses, having conversations with students. Yes, some of his ideas were contentious and controversial, and a lot of people didn't agree with it, but he had so much support. It's part of the reason Turning Point USA says they're active on 3,500 campuses. It's part of the reason why more and more campuses were welcoming Turning Point USA to their campus. And you guys saw the images on social media. We don't have to pull up the video again because it was quite obvious how many students attended this, how many students planned to be here for Charlie Kirk. And that's another question that's going to come up. How long was the shooter planning something like this? Because, it was announced that he was going to be here at UVU. I'll bring this up again. Charlie Kirk, I was watching the YouTube stream when it was happening just a couple days ago with him talking to Senator Mike Lee, talking about what a beautiful state Utah was, talking about how he was looking forward to come and speak to students here. So, and students have to plan. A lot of them have to buy tickets for events like these, but as you heard from some of the participants, they said, hey, we didn't even have to show our tickets. It didn't seem like there was much checks and balances at the door. All of that now is going to come into question, and it's going to be the forefront of a tragedy like this. So I could keep on going and going, but we do know that there is a suspect in custody right now. Excuse me, I'm being told that again they're saying that a suspect is not in custody. Brian, are we getting information into the newsroom about this? Because they're flipping back and forth again from what I'm hearing. Who said a suspect was in custody? Because the producer told me that too. You know what? There's so many people. They're probably sorting through so many people. Like they arrested that one guy at first and let him go. They do the same thing. Yeah.
The president has postponed a dinner he had planned for this evening. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
What were you guys told when you guys were in the class?
We weren't told anything. The teachers did a good job respectfully of just locking us down, telling everyone that they couldn't leave. We didn't get any really official reports. The information that I got was just when those people started answering the phone, and I started getting reports from my loved ones about what happened. Yeah.
How are you processing all of this?
It's hard. It's heavy. It's a difficult situation. Obviously, prayers go out to the Kirk family. I followed Charlie's content very closely, and prayers go out to anyone who was there and saw it as a terrible thing to witness. something that no one should have to go through.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Of course.
Yeah, appreciate it. Let me go ahead and bring our other student back in here. You kind of got some perspective of what students who were in classroom, who weren't at the event, what they heard, what they saw. Let's go ahead and bring our friend back over here who was actually at the event, about 10, 15 feet away.
Yep.
How are you processing all of this?
I don't know. I'm still pretty traumatized. It was a terrible thing to see. I don't think something like this should happen to anyone, regardless of your political views or religious views. So it's pretty traumatizing.
Yeah. And have you been just getting a lot of family calling in too?
Yeah, all my friends, all my family, everyone's been calling me, wanting to make sure I'm okay. Yeah.
And while you were describing students getting down, praying, and then escaping, I want to make sure I heard you clearly. Did you say after the shooting happened, like right after, you heard some of the protesters cheering?
I don't know if they were cheering, but they were definitely on their feet, pumping fists, which is really absurd.
While everyone else is on the ground?
Yeah, while people are running. So.
And you saw this with your own eyes?
Saw it with my own eyes. Me and my friend, we both saw it. We were talking about it after. I don't know how anyone could witness something so inhumane and decide to celebrate it like that. So.
Unbelievable. All right, well, I appreciate you talking to us
Thank you.
again. Some disgusting things there all around. The majority of the students hitting their knees after seeing Charlie get shot, and an eyewitness here saying he saw with his own two eyes other students pumping their fists. Maybe they're not students, maybe they're agitators. Sometimes they come onto campus too. So I want to make that very clear. But this is all unfolding very quickly. It's very fluid. And right now, not too many answers on who the suspect is. Apparently he's still not in custody. How did he get on campus? How did he get a weapon on campus? All of those, Brian, we hope to hear as soon as we can. And obviously the forefront of all this is getting the suspect in custody. Brian? Hey, Brian. If we're still on our shot, if we're still on our shot here, we just are seeing SWAT team speed out of here. We're seeing multiple law enforcement vehicles now speeding out of campus. That vehicle up there, the first vehicle, that was a SWAT vehicle, it was a sheriff's SWAT vehicle. And they're not just strolling out of here, they're speeding out of here right now. We want to see what other activity we're seeing from this parking lot. Okay, Darren, if we turn around here, we're going to see two more law enforcement vehicles speed out of here, as we know that a suspect is still out there. A suspect has not been taken into custody. And this is the first action we're seeing of law enforcement movement throughout the campus here. The direction they're heading, there's a church up there. There's also several other school facilities up there, or they may just be going to a complete different location. And for them to speed like that, there's something very active and fluid happening. You would have to wonder if maybe there are reports of a suspect. And listen, there's so many students there. It'd be very difficult to believe if somebody did not see the shooter and give police a description of what the suspect and shooter looked like. And if anybody's asking, hey, how come the police didn't release that information as soon as it happened? Well, a lot of times if there's a positive and a good ID on a suspect, they don't want to broadcast that to tip off the suspect in case they're tuning in on social media or television. They want to hold that close to their vest so that they're able to kind of not sneak, but to be able to reach the suspect without having them flee even further potentially. Now we're seeing some tactical gear on scene. This truck pulling up with officers.
Hey, I'm up at angle 5. This is my position currently. This is where police have been going on in and out, so I'll just kind of hang out here and wait to hear from either the governor or police. So. Okay, well it's okay. Well. Oh, well, that's on the opposite side of it. Okay, well, then I'll pack up and head that way. All right. Bye.
They've already let us in, right? That's what
Yeah,
they were
no,
doing.
yeah, so you're allowed to walk in.
Okay.
Just give me a heads up.
No, I appreciate it. Others wouldn't be so nice, you know.
Can you, well, I have my charger. I mean, if I could, I guess I could turn off my camera and batteries while we're waiting for this 4 o'clock. Does that work? Okay, cool, because we're going to be inside. Yeah, what building are we in? Keller. Keller. We're in the Keller building right now. It's Keller. Keller building. Yeah. We are setting up inside. Everybody's. Okay. Okay. Yes, Keller building.
Coordinating with FBI.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yep. No problem. I got this camera like 3 days ago, and I'm like, I don't know how to use this piece.